Adventure Tourers. If there was a genre of motorcycles that made absolute sense for India, Adventure Tourers would be it. They are quick, comfortable, and can handle the worst of Indian roads. Which is why Benelli, a manufacturer that's making a comeback in India, has decided to launch two Adventure Tourers, the TRK 502 and the 502X. Why two Adventure Tourers? Because Benelli is aiming for two kinds of buyers. One who is looking for a fast and comfortable hybrid machine, and one who is looking to explore what lies beyond tarmac. So while these motorcycles share the same chassis, styling cues and other components, they differ in the type of wheels, suspension travel and other bits. The 502X is designed to tackle paved highways as well as trails, which explains the long travel suspension, higher ground clearance at 220 mm, tubeless wire spoke wheels, and an exhaust can mounted as high as the rear subframe. Right, so both the TRK 502 and the 502X have a really comfortable riding position. The seat is wide and flat, but narrow towards the fuel tank so you can get your feet down easily. That said, it's a little harder on the 502X. That's because of the seat height, which is at 840 mm. Now that's quite high for an average Indian. The 502 is the road-focused TRK, evident by the 17-inch alloy wheels, underslung exhaust, lower ground clearance, and radially mounted brakes. Unlike the TRK 502X, the 502 has a lower seat height at 800 mm. Now that allows me to keep my feet down firmly and flat. The large dimensions, 20-litre fuel tank, adventure bike correct beak, and tall windscreen lend the TRK's imposing presence, an important value add for big bike shoppers. The quality of paint as well as fit and finish is good, except for the switches that could have been finished better. But more importantly, the shape of the tank makes it difficult to grab onto it while standing on the pegs and riding. It's a critical design flaw and surely a game that Form 1 over function. Also, the windscreen is not adjustable, a glaring issue in an adventure bike. But overall, the TRKs look good and purposeful. Both motorcycles employ a 500cc liquid-cooled parallel to an engine that develops 47.5 PS and 46 Nm of torque. On paper, that may not seem enough, considering these bikes weigh over 200 kgs. But in the real world, they don't feel underpowered. Power delivery is linear, and the bike is quick to get up to 100 to 120 kmph, which is a good highway cruising speed. That said, the motor is buzzy up to 110 kmph, and you do feel mild vibrations in the pegs, tank, and handlebar. Benelli has tried to dampen this by using thick rubber on the foot pegs and around the handlebar. The motor has a tractable nature, and that should be pretty good for the city as well as on the highway. The TRK 502 has a rather stiff suspension setup, which means at low speeds, over potholes, the jolts are transmitted to the rider. But over the same kind of roads, if you ride at say 5 or 10 kmph faster, the ride smoothens out. The trade-off to the stiff setup is the planted and confidence-inspiring handling. And around Chikmagalur's beautiful mountain roads, the 502 impressed with the way it flowed from corner to corner. The only thing to look out for is the top-heavy feeling, especially with a full tank of fuel. But spend some time with the 502, trust the suspension and the Pirelli tires, and the bike will surprise you with its handling. But what if you want to venture off-road? It's the 502X that impresses with its depth of abilities. The long travel suspension, Metzeler Tourance tires, and higher ground clearance allow you to wander down trails without worrying. And the X is built strong enough to handle jumps as well. At the end of a long day of trail bashing, there were no rattles or loose panels. The only issue I found is with the weight. It makes it a tad difficult to back it up, especially while executing a tight U-turn on a narrow trail. And if you were to drop it, it'll take more than a pair of hands to lift it up. Out on the highway, the supple ride is welcome, especially over a long distance. And the grip levels offered by the tires on tarmac is also pretty good. The brakes on the TRK 502 have a really strong bite, but lack progression. The 502X's axially mounted calipers also offer good stopping power. But the best thing is, ABS is switchable on both bikes, which means it's really easy to slide the bike around. The Benelli TRK 502, now that's a proper road-focused touring machine. The seating position is really comfortable. The engine has got adequate power. There's a very faint buzz in the pegs and in the bars and around the tank, but you can live with it. But the 502 is properly road-focused and a motorcycle that you'd want to do long distances on, long highway cruises on. It will manage a little bit of off-road. The only chink in its armor, I would say, is the stiff suspension. So I would say stick to the road if you want to ride the 502. Coming to the 502X now, I think that is a motorcycle that really holds a lot of promise. First of all, the 502 is priced at 5 lakhs, and for 40,000 rupees more you get the TRK 502X, and that's a lot more fun off-road. Of course, you have the advantage of a higher ground clearance, longer suspension travel, 19-inch front wheel, and all of that culminates together to give you a lot more confidence when you're pushing this motorcycle around trails. It's got enough power, you'd say, to step out the tail a little bit, so you can't really do a lot of power slides like on the bigger adventure tourers. So it's overall a much better package, and as you can see from the state of the bike behind me, I had a lot of fun. But considering the price, the TRKs do the job of an adventure tourer quite well.